amazing stuff has come out this week that aligns with the position, at least wise, that my husband and I have taken throughout this pandemic, is always like step behind and follow the money and see what's really going on. For those of you who don't feel that I should be sharing my opinions because they different than mainstream media, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I will always state mine. If you don't know me very well, then you would tell me to be silent. If you know me, you know that's not going to do any good. So at any rate, if you didn't get a chance to see the video or the interview, I can't remember her name, the scientist, I encourage you to just watch it with an open mind. And please, please, please do your own research on all of it. Don't just take things at face value and be spoon-fed by the liberal media. Look at all the stuff that isn't appearing on the liberal media, and decide for yourself what you think about it as well. Please, all of you, do your own research about this mask thing. Marilee Pompa posted an article, like a thing about oxygenation of our brain and what's happening with the masks too. And so I think that that's a very disconcerting. And I know the whole idea is, oh, if I go and wear a mask or wear gloves, then it's better for everybody else. And no offense to any of you, but my health is more important than yours to me. Just like I hope that we all feel like our health is the most important. It doesn't mean I don't care about other people, but I feel like the greatest thing I can do for others is to be healthy and to have a clear mind. So, and you know what? That takes lots of discipline. And that's why I have asked Dr. Erica Woodard-Davis to join me today. Erica, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This is always a really fun interview for me. I've done several Facebook Lives with Erica. She was one of the speakers at our very first women's leadership boot camp that we did. Gosh, we're going to be doing the third one this year. And she spoke on Olympic style discipline. So Erica, why do you get to speak on Olympic style discipline, and what's in the background there?
Okay, so in the background here is actually my uniform from the Olympics in 2000. So actually 20 years ago. Good Lord.
Wow, that's incredible. Ben and I were talking about that for this summer, that the Olympics are canceled, right?
Right.
And I was just thinking about like all of those athletes who've been preparing for a lifetime, right? To be able to run their 10-second sprint or their, I'll have Erica tell you her story, but, and they can't do it. Like, I can't even imagine, number one, the discipline to be able to get there, and then to not be able to do that. So tell us about running in the Olympics.
Wow. Well, running the Olympics were the highlight of my career as a track and field athlete. We're not part of the big sports where we have like basketball. So you have the NBA, you have Major League Baseball, you have NHL. Track and field is not one of those type of sports. So our big show takes place only every 4 years. So we have all of that time to prepare to get ready for that particular show. And Dr. Barb, you're right. The preparation for the Olympics is not just that 1 year. It's going back years and years of preparation to get there, and to turn around and not be able to do it. It's like, what is happening right now? Like all this preparation, what are you going to do? For me, I had the pleasure and the opportunity to represent my country of Canada. It's a lot of work to get there. And, there's a lot of trust too, because you have to trust in your coach to believe that what they are telling you to do is going to help you get there. And it's a team effort. Your coach has to do their part, but then you are the one that's on the track having to execute what it is that he or she is telling you to do. And that's kind of where the team effort comes in. It's very similar to what we do here in the boot camp, right? Like we're trusting in Dr. Barb to come forth and give us all of her knowledge. And then it's up to us to implement what it is that we're doing. So if things aren't going quite well, first we have to look at ourselves. Okay, what is it that I did do or didn't do in terms of what my coach is trying to tell me? And I think that's why, for me, being a member of the boot camp, it's really easy for me to digest and understand, because I've had that coach relationship previously in my former career as an athlete.
And I love my first approach is to look at myself, right? Like that's
Right.
something we're going to be talking about on the live boot camp call today is, I see in this period of uncertainty because of COVID,
Yeah.
those who have the habit of, I don't know, and then it stops them.
Right.
There's so many triggers then that are causing them to run that pattern. And my trigger of I don't know immediately triggers me to say, but who does? Like
Right.
somebody knows the answer to this. And now my job is just to find that somebody or that resource instead of saying, well, I don't know, I guess that's it. Like I just give up. Where as an athlete or in the boot camp, that I don't know, that triggers discipline, that triggers a quest, that triggers like I wasn't fast enough that time. Like, what are the ways in which I can go back?
Right.
Do I pump my arms harder? Was it like my start? Like what was it that didn't get me the result? And not like beat myself up, but okay, cool. Now I have an opportunity to improve. So let's talk about the biggest changes that you made in order to now, even in COVID, you're doing a really awesome job in practice. What are some of those Olympic style discipline action steps that you've taken in order to like still do very well despite COVID?
Right. Well, thank you for that. I think one is not to panic, and then the second thing that I looked at was how was I going to get ahead of it. So I definitely sent out a Facebook Live, and I also did something on Instagram, just first of all, letting the patients know that I was still open. As soon as I got word from the governor that chiropractic is considered essential here in California, I went online like right away and let all my patients know that. So I did it as a email blast to everybody, but then I also went online so people could see my face, because I think seeing the calmness in my face of what's about to happen was also a huge component. And then on top of that, I did a update to let them know what steps we're taking here in the office to make sure that we follow all the CDC guidelines as well. So everybody was able to do that. In February, we actually expanded my office, which was awesome, but then COVID hit. So I was like, what? So what we ended up doing was we used that space to our advantage by having not just one, but two waiting rooms. And then from there, we were able to implement social distancing within my office space. So we have one way in, one way out. So people do not cross paths whatsoever. And I have been given a lot of positive feedback from my patients, like, hey, you know what, I really thank you for doing this. Hey, you really have it knocked down and nailed, and it's perfect here. I have no problems referring whomever to come here, and let them know that your office is safe. That's usually what most of the patients are telling me. So that's two of the things that I was able to incorporate for sure.
Awesome. I love that. And being out in front, and not only being out in front, but that daily, I mean, at least once a week, all of you, please remind your practice members, we're open. We're here to serve you. And I think all of us need to add right now too, now welcoming new practice members and let them know, like, we are essential. Welcoming new practice members, we can help you. You don't, if normally you would go to the emergency room for something like that, like come here and again and again and again and again. And so make sure that your cadence is every single Monday to remind your practice members, hey, we're open. These are our hours. I also wanted to remind you, we're welcoming new practice members. What they need to do to begin their journey is go to my website. You'll see, a green button that says new practice members. Click on that, and that will begin your journey towards living a healthier life. So I look forward to seeing you this week. We are like, here are the ways in which that we're honoring the mandates. For those of you who've watched me, you know, I'm not a big fan of this word safe, because I think it makes individuals feel like, right, if something is safe, then what's not safe, and letting them know we're doing what they tell us to do, so you can have the confidence that this is the right place to regain and keep your health. And certainly everyone, if your goal, if you want to use the word safe, you can. And I think it's really important, like Erica took those steps, so that her practice members can, and I guess the only word to use is safe, but in this situation, safe that we're following the rules.
Right. Right.
So Erica, let me ask you something. When your practice members are asking you, as lots of boot campers have shared with me, that their practice members ask them all the time, like, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And weighing in on your opinion concerning COVID, do you feel like you have to hold back, or what are you sharing with them?
So first and foremost, I tell people to do their research, just like you did at the top of this whole interview. And then I also let them know some of the basic things about just supporting the immune system, like the fact that we're inside and that we're wiping everything down. We do need some bacteria in our systems for our actual immune systems to function and function properly. And I think vitamin D is also very important, as well as A and a couple of other essentials. So I actually do go over that with my patients and just let them know where I'm coming from. My patients are very used to me being very straightforward and honest. And if I don't know, I have no problem saying to them that I don't know, but I will find out and get back to you. But I don't really hold back on that. I just tell them what I think is going on and what I think they need to know, and just go from there, because I don't really want them to be living in fear. Like I'm not living in fear. So I want them to be as educated as possible and find out as much as they can.
I love that. And teaching them not how, like, what the action steps, like, hey, I'm confident, I'm not living in fear, and here's why. Right. Like, number one, I do my research. Number two, I've been doing my research. I'm a chiropractor. We have lots and lots of training of how the body functions in a disease state and in a healthy state. And so I know that if these things are true to make me healthy, then at a time that I could potentially be compromised, I want to make sure I'm doing more of these, right? Like, right. I think it's like really just getting back to basics. Exactly. As well, and reminding them, like, all right, what are the components that you know are necessary in order for somebody to be healthy? Oh, well, exercise.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So you can combine exercise with fresh air and vitamin D, get outside. Right. What's another one? And just like be walking through, and like, how do they make that decision? You know, I always think of, if I was suddenly diagnosed with a disease today, what action steps would I take? Well, so that I don't have to be diagnosed, like, maybe I should be taking those action steps now, instead of waiting for the diagnosis, right? Just like in practice. Right. So let's give everyone like the top 3 things that you're doing. Like, you're serving new practice members. Right. You're still serving a wonderful volume, and Dr. Eric is in a cash practice in California. What are the top 3 things that every day you're like, I got to make sure I do these. I got to make sure I do these. I got to make sure I do these, so that those who are watching, if they're not, they're things that they can easily implement into their practice.
Oh, so basically, this is actually a really easy question to answer, because it goes right back to the basics. So what we did here was we went back into the boot camp. We went back over watching videos, and we, meaning myself and my CA. We are doing referrals. We are doing testimonials. We are doing Facebook Lives. And also we are taking the time to really educate our patients. So everybody is aware of what we're doing, what we stand for and what we can do to help them during this time. I mean, one of the simple things right now is like we all know everybody's at home and they're working from home. So are they in a really ergonomically correct position? Probably not. So that's leading to more neck pain, more back pain. Those are things that you can simply do Facebook Lives on. I've done a few. I've done a Facebook group, a membership group. It's a private group, but it's visible for everybody, so it's easy to find. It's called the Health League, and my practice members are jumping into that and getting simple tips every day. Not really things that are focused on COVID at all, but just simple tips every day that they could use, and that's been huge. So really, I think I gave you like 5 or 6 just now, but really it's going back to the basics, going back to the information that's in the boot camp, and you will be able to really succeed and grow.
You know, I love the basics are just so important. And one thing I would encourage all of you to do is even like do a Facebook Live about, hey, now that we're all working at home, these are ways in which it can, like, you're working at home could threaten your health, and threaten your health because of not sitting ergonomically, which then leads to potential spinal and nerve system problems. So here's what you need to check on in terms of when you're working, what needs to happen. And then number 2, this is how to know if you need a chiropractic checkup as a result of not doing these things and not adhering to these ergonomic positions for all of these weeks, right? So like always give them the step of, how do I know I need a checkup? Well, if this and this and this and this and this, those are signs that you need a checkup. So if you're experiencing those, or someone you know is experiencing those, then the very next thing that you want to do is call my office right now to schedule a checkup. Your checkup will include da 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 da. I'll be able to tell you on your second visit, what is the severity and complexity of your problem? How are we going to what is your customized plan? And if I can't help you, I'll make sure I find somebody who can. So give them the next step, and that's part of getting back to basics. So Erica, give us all an Olympic discipline, food for thought to chew on the rest of today.
Let's see, an Olympic discipline. I think one thing that I worked on, both in practice and just as an athlete, is tackling fear. I think tackling fear is a huge one, because these are unprecedented times. We don't really know what's going to happen. So sometimes you might get that little thought of fear kind of coming in. I think you need to look at it as, instead of it being something that's holding you back, look at it as face everything and rise. That's your thing for fear. Face everything and rise.
I love it.
I think that's a really good one. And I think that's a strong one that you need to kind of hold on to, because everybody's looking to you. So if you have a support staff in your CA front office, they're looking at you for the leadership. So you kind of really have to pull in kind of all the stops, everything that you have within your system to move forward. And if not, lean into the boot camp.
Yes, there's so much training. This is not the time. This is the time to double down on your training. And we all have time. Like every time you're cleaning a table or you're doing all of the extra measures, like get some more mileage out of your minutes and have an audio file going for sure. So Erica, thank you so much. I will see you in a couple minutes in the boot camp.
Yep. All right. Take care. Bye.
Have a good day. See you. Bye.